I'm Richard from the Mortgage Home, and we are your buy-to-let mortgage experts. Welcome to our YouTube channel. And in this video, I want to talk about the Trump tariffs, the chaos, the uncertainty, the rough seas that is Donald Trump, but a silver lining, I believe. So if you want to understand what I mean by that, just stay tuned. Just before I get into that, if you have subscribed already, I just want to give you a massive thank you for doing so. If you haven't, why not? Please just click on the subscribe button, because you will be notified then when we drop some educational content, which is roughly weekly, but you'll get that instant notification so you can jump in and watch it at your leisure. Now, let's get on with it. What on earth is going on in Trump world? Well, first of all, I should be telling you when I'm recording this. It's the 10th of April. And as we all know, things have been moving at an electric pace. So a really quick recap. Liberation Day was just about a week ago now, and Trump obviously brought in tariffs pretty much across the board, created trade wars between a number of countries who reciprocated, not least the second biggest economy on the planet, China, which obviously is continuing today. The ripple effects with markets across the world have been pretty unanimous. In that, obviously, it was detrimental to economies, potential recessions that this would be forthcoming, impacts on inflation. So very much, of course, seen as a massive sort of negative, not only in the US, but every other country. So what does that mean for us as landlords? What does that mean for mortgage rates? Well, before we jump to mortgage rates, where we get the absolute real metric and indicator of what's going to happen with mortgage rates is something called swap rates. Not going to talk too much about them, but for those that have never heard that phrase before, essentially a swap rate is the interest rate that one lender or institution will charge another institution for lending them some money. And lo and behold, it's not coincidence that you'll find that these interest rates, these swap rates that are being charged, there'll be a 2-year swap rate, there'll be a 5-year swap rate, because that correlates straight through to mortgages. Because when this lender B is borrowing, let's say, £50 million off lender A, that's used then to lend out as mortgages and repackage to you and I as mortgages. So the interest rate that lender B is being charged becomes the bedrock, the baseline for what they're going to charge you and I. So it's really, really relevant, pertinent, and useful to see what the swap rates are. They do almost mirror what the mortgage rates you and I will see. But the big difference, because here's the thing, with swap rates, these are moving instantly, within the hour, multiple times during the day, whereas there's a lag between what that then translates into mortgage rates. That may not translate for a few days or a week or 2 weeks down the line. So we can see what's going to happen down the road by looking at swap rates now, which is why they're so useful. And what have I been seeing? Well, literally since this Liberation Day, let's call it, that Trump calls it, over the last week, swap rates have absolutely gone through the floor. They've reduced massively. And what does massive mean? 0.5%. That is a big drop. I've not seen that shift since Liz Truss days. Now, obviously, with Liz Truss, it went in the opposite direction. This time, we're going down. So that's the silver lining for us as landlords, because already it's translating into lower mortgages. I'm seeing every single day lenders coming out with brand new products, buy-to-let products that are reduced anywhere from 0.2. The biggest reduction I've seen is 0.6% off the rate they were charging last week. So here's the thing for you as landlords. If you are already in discussion with brokers, if you've already had some research more than a week ago, that's probably not much use to you. Your broker should be updating that, or get back in touch with your broker now to see what are the rates today, because who knows how long this is going to last. Trump is obviously keeping his cards close to his chest. What I was going to tell you today changed overnight. That's how volatile the situation is. So how long are these cheaper buy-to-let mortgage rates going to be around? We don't know. So make your decision quick. If I was a landlord, already having a chat, I would have some urgency on this, because these lower fixed rates that are just coming out in the last few days I don't know what direction it's going to go in, because already overnight, Trump has roared back on tariffs to many of the countries, excluding China. So swap rates already today have started to go back up. So these buy-to-let rates may not be around anymore. Now, one other thing I want to just jump onto is that when I've been looking at swap rates, if we get under the surface, the 2-year and 5-year swap rates is really fascinating, because if we look back, there's the differential between a 5-year and a 2-year fix has been pretty static for quite a few years now. And you will know, as a landlord, I know that the 5-year fixed rate has been cheaper than a 2-year fixed rate, roughly. I'm obviously being generic here, by about 0.5%. So lenders have been pricing the longer term fixed rates cheaper than the short 2-year fixed for a number of years now. Well, guess what? We've had an about change now, because right now the swap rates for 2 years has all of a sudden now dropped below the 5-year swap rate. And get what I said earlier is what you see on the swap rates is what we'll see on the mortgage rates likely in the next week. So if this trend, this is a really brand new trend that's only happening in the last day or two. So we're not yet seeing it follow through on mortgage rates. But if this continues, then expect to see cheaper 2-year fixed rates, cheaper than the 5-year fixed rates. And if that is something that is, and a lot of landlords have a strategy where they would prefer to have the 2-year deal because it gives them more options to review their circumstances at that point. Well, it may well be that the 2-year deals are cheaper than the 5-year pretty soon. Watch this space for more updates. If you want to have a chat with the team about getting up-to-date research out, or you've not yet started and we're sat on the fence, I'm telling you, really should be starting that process now. So there is a link in the comment section below this video. If you want to start that research, book some time in with the team and just see what we can do for you. See you on the next video.